I quit my 9 to 5 job before my side gig was actually making enough money to cover my monthly expenses. Was it the smartest thing I've ever done? No, but reflecting back, it was the best decision I ever made. In this video, I'm going to walk you through my decision and why I decided to quit my 9 to 5 job to pursue my side gig full time in hopes that when you're in that in between stage of, hey, I have this side gig, I don't know how to make the jump from it being my side gig to my full time job. Hopefully, you can take away something from this video that'll help you make that decision a little easier for you. Hey everyone, Riley here with Small Business Unfiltered. If you're new to the channel, welcome. So excited to see you. If you wouldn't mind, go ahead and click that subscribe button down below, turn on notifications so that you get notified every time I publish a new video, which is every Sunday and every Wednesday. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back to the channel. All right, let's go ahead and jump into today's topic. It's one that I think a lot of small business owners struggle with at the very beginning, and it has to do with when do you quit your 9 to 5 job to pursue your new business venture or the thing that you've been running on the side for the past months or past year, whatever it may be. How do you make that jump to making that your full time business? It's something that I went through over 2.5, 3 years ago now. I started my business on the side. It's a small business. We do a lot of digital marketing for other small businesses. So social media, graphic design, website development, all of that kind of marketing for small businesses. But when I just started on my own, I was working, doing a couple of side gigs, starting some Facebook pages or creating some content for a couple of small businesses that were family members or friends of friends, that close personal connection that people knew I worked in marketing and asked for help setting up their business page, right? I've talked about that a lot in previous videos, but that's how I got started. I really was just doing it on the side. I would go to my 9 to 5 job, come home, knock out some content for clients or do all of that on the weekend. And I did that for quite a while. I would say 9 to 12 months. I was just doing it on the side. It started out slow and then it kind of kept getting busier and busier. And it turned from one client to two. And, early on, those clients weren't like high ticket, high paying clients by any means. It was, again, friends and family or friends of friends. So gave them a bit of a discount. And two, I didn't really know what to charge yet because I was kind of just running with it on the fly. And that's how things go. But as things got busier, I knew that this could be, a full-time business. It was something that I saw the need and I kind of kept developing as I was going and got to the point I was like, wow, I could potentially take this full time and, this be my full job, which is crazy to think about whenever you're in that time period of, wow, like that's a big idea to grasp. And you're still busy with your 9 to 5 job, you're doing stuff on the side, and then you're trying to contemplate, hey, how do I make this my full time job? What do I need to do? I think when I just got started, I was just, having them Venmo me or PayPal me. There was no business name, nothing was set up with the Secretary of State or the IRS or anything like that. When I wanted to go full time, obviously had to make it, more quote unquote official business name, all of that stuff, build out a website for myself. So it's just a lot to kind of take in all at once. And then all that pressure keeps building up. And it's like, I don't know when to make that jump from working my 9 to 5 to making my side gig my full time thing. And again, I think that's where a lot of people get stuck for longer than they should be. And I'm, I definitely fell victim to that. So when I came to the quote unquote fork in the road, um, I think I kind of lucked out in a way, in a sense that my decision, I was heavily influenced to make my decision the way I made my influence, not in a bad way, but there just came a time in my life when I had to decide between staying at my job or moving with my girlfriend. And that would mean I would no longer be be able to work at my full-time 9 to 5 job. So that was kind of the big like fork in the road moment for me, which I think, reflecting back made it easier for me. You know, I had been kind of in that stage of I think I could take this full time. I'm just afraid to do it for several months leading up to that point, and just, afraid to really pull the trigger and jump and make it my full time job. So when I was faced with this decision, it was still scary. Like it wasn't great. Um, but I think it was that thing that I needed to really propel me forward. Because if not, who knows if I ever would have actually taken it full time, right? I had a very comfortable job. I loved what I did. The pay wasn't necessarily like great by any means, but I was surviving, I was saving money. Like I didn't really have too many complaints besides, the normal stuff that people who work a 9 to 5 job and don't have any control over their schedule and blah blah blah. Like other than that, I was perfectly content with staying with my job. So came to this decision, and obviously I'm here now. So you probably know which direction I went. I decided to quit my 9 to 5 job and take my side gig and make it my full time thing. That was the thing. I didn't want to quit my job and go to a different job and still have my side gig over top of all of that. It was like, this is it. I'm just making that leap. I'm going for it. I'm going all in. Was I ready though? That's, kind of the question that we have to ask is, was I ready to make that leap or am I ready? Like that's what people get held up on a lot, is trying to really decide and have the confidence to say I'm ready to do this and I can do it. And I don't think anybody's ever really fully ready to make that jump because it is a big task to do. It's definitely scary. Like I said in the intro to this video, is I at that time when had to make that decision, I wasn't making what my full time job was making yet on the side. So my side gig was not to that point. I wasn't technically at my monthly expenses, like what my side gig was bringing in wasn't there yet. So it was, that's a deciding factor too. But I was also at the point where I never would have been able to grow my side gig anymore because I was just maxed out on time. So there's that awkward stage of I'm just going to stay making the same amount on my side gig because I physically didn't have time to put more time into it because I was still working my full time job. So while I wasn't technically making enough to cover my expenses, I was never going to make that if I didn't take the leap and go full time. So I knew I was close. Once I was looking at it, I knew if I landed one more client, monthly recurring revenue, our social media clients, that's what we do. We have them on contract. So we get paid X amount every single month to create all their content, schedule everything for them, do all the engagement. I knew if I could land one more client, I would be good. I would be making what I would need to make to quote unquote survive, right? My monthly expenses would be covered. Doesn't mean, I was saving or making a whole lot of extra money, but I knew I could survive if I had one more client. Or if I did one more website build or one more like bigger project each month that would kind of make up that extra expenses. So, bottom line, I knew I was close. But again, I would never be able to make it without quitting my full time job. So it was scary. I didn't feel ready. I have no business background going into it. I didn't know what I was doing. I was kind of just like, hey, I can create content. I can manage your social media pages for you. Sure. Like I know how to do all that. Do I know how to do the business side of things? No. So, that part of it definitely scary, but I learned. I have other videos talking about that if you want to go watch them, but I knew I was close. And so that I think when you're looking at, hey, can I make it happen? Obviously, money is a big factor. And I was able to break it down and saw that, that one client was all I needed. And Like, was I ever going to get that client on if I just kept doing my side gig? No. Again, I didn't have the time. So I weighed, hey, I'm going to have all this extra time in the day, right? Because I'm not working 9 to 5 on this other thing. I know I can go all in and start prospecting, start reaching out to more people, start really marketing myself more to land that extra client because I had all this free time now that my 9 to 5 job was previously taking up. So is that, pros and cons, and that shift of not being able to work on my business or on my side gig enough because of my full time job to now that's completely flipped and I have all the time in the world. And that kind of gave me that realization that I can definitely do this. I just have to hit one more client, but I'm going to have all this extra time in the world to do it. And that was a huge help for me. I think with every small business owner who starts running their business as a side gig, they naturally come to this point of not having enough time to run the business, but the business isn't making enough money to make it full time. So there's always this awkward intersection, this fork in the road, what I keep calling it, that you have to make this scary jump. And I think my best piece of advice is, there's a reason you started your side gig. There's a reason that you started doing what you're doing, whether it's you love it or you're really good at it, or, there's a huge potential for it to make a lot more money than you're currently making, right? Everybody has different motivations of why they wanted to start a business. And mine was I was good at it and I saw a need for it. There was not being, at the time, I I didn't know of that many more marketing agencies that were working specifically with small businesses and nonprofits like I was trying to do. So I saw the need for it and I was good at it and I liked doing it. So that's kind of what my passion for starting my business was. And so once you hit that spot, you of not having enough time to work on it and not having enough money to make it full time, you just have to be confident in yourself. You have to know that, hey, I did this for a reason. I'm good at what I do. I've gotten it to this point with the limited amount of hours that I've been able to put into it. Now imagine what I can do if I can devote an extra 8 hours a day to running this business. Like, if you once you think of it that way, oh, I have all this time in the world. If you're confident in yourself, there's no reason you shouldn't be able to land that one extra client or sell 10 extra units a month, whatever it may be, right? Because you're giving yourself all this extra time. So yeah, it's scary, but you did this for a reason. You're probably confident in what you're doing, what you're selling, whatever you're providing to your clients or customers. You just have to remember that confidence of why you got started and just continue on, right? I admittedly stayed in the awkward zone of being capped out and not wanting to make that jump for several months, way too long, in my opinion. But I know it's a scary thing to look at or a scary thing to do. So I don't blame you if you're in that situation too. I was in that exact same spot. Just I didn't, I wasn't on YouTube watching videos or, getting advice of when to make that jump. So hopefully you're here, you're watching. Hopefully, this can give you that extra motivation of you can do it, be confident in yourself. You did it for a reason. You're at that point. Obviously, it's successful if you're capping out of time and ability to make any more money because you don't have enough time. Obviously, it's successful enough that you should be ready to make that jump. So, if you have any questions about, hey, I'm at this spot, should I go for it? Should I not? Leave me a comment below. I'd love to interact with you, answer any questions you may have, because it is a scary time and there's a lot to think about, from the taxes or setting up with the IRS or filing with the Secretary of State in your state. Like, there's so many different things once you make it an official business and not just doing it on your side that can kind of weigh on your decision making process. So if there's anything that I can help answer, relieve some stress, or whatever is causing you the friction of not jumping and making your side gig full time, leave a comment down below. I'll answer it in an upcoming video. I'll send you a message. Happy to help any way I can. So Again, this is your first video. If you aren't already subscribed, do so. Turn on notifications, new videos every Sunday and every Wednesday. Just here to help you grow as a small business owner.